to go through a little winter bucket list. I know it's not official winter yet.
I'm like, that looks like it's 8 foot. Pretty sure I can get that home and then
Magically grow one fruit or vegetable in your garden out of season during the winter months. What would it be?
No questions asked. So Harry one year bought a dragon.
So number 5 is plant a winter bulb. Now,
So if anybody ever does get a new hose, here's your life hack.
Or in my case, my houseplants are like, oh yeah, I remember you. Welcome back to the Helpful Gardeners podcast. This week, Colin, it's a very special weekend because we are ending daylight savings in many parts of the country.
But not all.
But not all.
But not because not all started it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is why I really wanted to focus in on this week, because I personally don't know a lot about daylight savings, or at least didn't know a lot about daylight savings. The only thing that I kind of knew was that whenever I call my grandmother around this time, I always am like, what time is it? I have no idea. And she's like, yep, we're on either Alberta time, BC time. Sometimes she'll reference Spokane because she's right on the corner or right on the border to the US. So
that legitimately sounds like it would make it more confusing.
I know.
That doesn't sound like it narrows it down. But no, I know what you're saying because I still have family and friends back in the UK.
Yes.
And I still am an avid watcher of my soccer.
Yeah.
We know that all of Canada doesn't necessarily change.
Right.
England does.
So the whole country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, well, you know what? Now I can't say that. But England doesn't change theirs the same time Canada does.
Oh, it's different?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. That makes things more complicated.
Yeah, they changed 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing. That's the complicated part, is that it's not standardized. It's not standardized across the world. Regions can choose to do what they want to do. And it's been a very controversial topic in Canada.
What you're saying about your grandma.
Yeah.
So hold on. Let me just make sure I fully understand this. So what you're saying is that she lived in BC. The province of BC does celebrate daylight savings time, but her municipality did not.
Exactly. And there's multiple places in BC that don't. There's Dawson's Creek.
Dawson's Creek.
Like
the TV show.
Like the TV show. But I also guess there's regions in Saskatchewan that don't do it. The Yukon. I think pretty much on the East Coast, when I did a little bit more digging into it, they do it.
Okay.
So that's been pretty interesting. And this Sunday, so today when you're listening to this, is going to be daylight savings ending. So we're going to be falling back our clocks. What are some of the reasons for daylight savings that you may have heard?
Something to do with the post office.
Yeah.
Something to do with the railroads.
The railroads?
Yeah. Something to do with war.
Okay.
I've heard those 3, I think, are and of course, let's throw the farmers under the bus because everybody always goes, daylight saving time, stupid farmers.
Except that's totally what I grew up thinking and believing. And I was always told that daylight savings was created to give the farmers more sunlight in the evening to work longer hours to get the harvest in or to get like their garden or their fields done.
But okay, so I know a few farmers.
Yeah.
I worked on a farm.
Yeah.
I've done a vacation on a farm when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Out of all of the farmers I've ever met in my life, and I'm not talking hundreds, but a fair few, I don't know any of them that sleep in.
No.
I don't know any of them that are like, oh, fantastic, I can get to work at 8 o'clock. They'll be up and going, whatever the job might be, at like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. And they'll also go through the night as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so, exactly. I feel like the daylight, doesn't really play. I mean, maybe it does play a factor. I mean, we're not farmers. We're not post office workers or anything. So maybe there's something there that we're maybe missing. But as far as like where it sort of started, where would you think that daylight savings is said to have started? At least in Canada.
Oh, Canada. I was like globally, I mean, I would guess Greenwich. I have no basis for guessing Greenwich other than it's Greenwich Mean Time.
Yeah.
In Canada, Halifax or Regina?
Halifax or Regina.
Well,
okay.
I figure I'm going to throw the fisherman under the bus too. Maybe it was the fisherman who started.
Let's cover all bases.
Yeah, like maybe the fishermen were like, the fish, I don't catch as many. Can we extend the daylight savings time because the fish are awake earlier in the morning?
Oh my God.
Or maybe we catch them when they're sleeping. That's how it works because, silly fish, they're still sleeping.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Well, actually, the first documented cases of daylight savings all the way on the East Coast or on the east side of Canada in Ontario, which is now known as Thunder Bay, Ontario. in 1908, so over a century ago.
Thunder Bay did it.
Thunder Bay. And here's the thing. When I went in to look into it.
Thunder Bayesians have a lot to answer. Thunder. That didn't sound right. That sounded.
Thunder Bayesians.
Thunder.
Oh, that's a very good point. Okay, now I'm sorry.
Thunderbanians? Thunderbanians?
Thunder Bayer.
A Thunder Bayer. Oh, I guess that actually was probably the easiest one.
Hello to all the Thunder Bayers listening.
Hi, Thunder Bayers.
That's cool. But yeah, it was apparently started to give working folk an extra hour of daylight for after work leisure activities.
That is funny because I always heard that it was to extend the time in the morning going the other way.
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay, let me ask you this. On a personal note.
Yes.
Do you prefer, because I know you're an early riser, do you prefer the sun coming up earlier or do you prefer the longer evenings?
So here's the thing. This is probably a very unpopular opinion, but I personally like daylight savings because I like to...
Okay, this is over.
I know.
Wow.
I know, friends.
We're on the same page, Brandy.
I prefaced it saying unpopular opinion. I would wonder if there's anybody that also sees this, but personally, I like it because I do get those longer hours in the evening to do more things. Like, I know some people will say, but the sun doesn't go down till like 10 o'clock. I'm like, in the summertime, I will definitely stay out till 10 o'clock if it means I get to go out and go, on a walk or go out and stand in line at Made by Marcus ice cream for an hour. Like if there's something to do in the evening so I can just like drink in all there is to do in the summertime in Calgary, I will totally do it.
Do you know what Harry and I did one year?
What?
It was like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. In the same year, on June 21st, we went out ridiculously early in the morning because it's the longest day.
Yeah.
And we celebrated sunrise.
Oh.
And then we went out and celebrated sunset. And then on December 21st, we went out and we celebrated sunrise. And then we went to the mountains and celebrated sunset.
That's so special.
Yeah. So we got to see that full spectrum. And the summer day is you get over 16 hours of daylight. Mm-hmm. And on December 21st, it's under 8 hours of daylight. Yeah. But it was something I'd never actually done it myself. And I was like talking to Harry and he was like, I'm like, you realize how early you're going to have to get up in the summer? Yeah. And he was like, don't care, I'm in. Okay, so in the research you've done, let me ask you this, see if you know the answer here. Why does it seem like they just randomly picked a day? They didn't pick an equinox. They didn't pick like the winter equinox.
Yeah.
Seems like they randomly just went that day. That's when it happens.
I have this theory, and I think it's because they know that that's when you fertilize your plants. I'm just kidding. Okay, no, because I know that you've said to me in the past that you use this holiday for a very special purpose. And
exactly.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's why they actually put it on those days. To be honest, I actually haven't. I've seen way more research on reasons why we should stop daylight savings than on actual reasons on why it's those days.
Well, and okay, so you work traffic.
Yes.
Okay. You're up in the helicopter and getting everybody to work safely every day, and we all love you for that. What is the chaos like on the Monday on either spring forward or fall back?
I got to admit, spring forward is definitely the tougher one.
Is it really?
Definitely the spring forward is the one where we see the most collisions. But that being said, I'm happy it happens on a weekend. Most people working during the week, and then you kind of get that day. And there's been a lot of preparations now to sort of prepare yourself for that time change.
Maybe that's why they chose it arbitrarily.
Maybe
it has more to do with during this time is that Halloween is finished and it's not yet Christmas, and there's not really a lot happening. A lot of people, and I'm not just talking about the garden, but it is perfect tie-in because at this time of year we all put our gardens to sleep, and it seems like everybody, we're all still busy. That's life these days, I think. But everybody seems to slow down a bit because in the summer, I know you feel this way. I feel it too. If it is a beautiful sunny summer day and for whatever reason I don't get outside and do something, it counts as a wasted day.
It does a little bit. Yeah. Nowadays I come home and I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to chill on the couch and watch something. But in the summertime, there's daylight, there's things to be done, there's gardening to do, right?
Yep. And you sit on the couch and you go, I I feel like I should be outside. I should be doing something.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why they picked it is it's, the least chaotic time. And maybe that was their structure.
Yeah, it could be. I wish that I'd known exactly what it was because I think it's changed a bit.
Yep.
I think we had changed it recently to sort of align with the United States. And like you said, the UK still has it on a completely different day, a couple weeks difference.
Yeah, every year I miss a soccer game because I know when ours is, but I don't know when theirs is.
Yeah, exactly.
No good. No bueno.
No, absolutely not. But that was really cool. So just a reminder, roll back your clocks if you're in any of those affected areas that do daylight savings.
I wonder, okay, so like you said as well, our phones automatically update now, but my stove doesn't.
Okay, that was my next question. How many clocks do you have to change?
3.
3? How many clocks do you have overall?
Microwave, stove, car.
Okay.
And
that's right.
Yeah.
I always forget about the car.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if that's why there's so many accidents.
Oh, maybe.
Because you don't think about it on the Sunday.
And then you're like, how do I change this again?
Exactly.
All the time. I'm like going through all my settings being like, where was it? Where was it?
There is a button on my stereo.
Yeah.
That is labeled time. A clock. Yeah, I think it's time, but yeah, it is.
That's what mine has too.
And I'm like, where is it? How do I do it? And no, that's the bass, Colin. That's okay. Now I'm listening to some French radio station.
It's so true though. And then you finally see the clock one and you're like, oh, it was that easy.
And then you hit it and it starts flashing and you have no idea what to turn or tap to make it change from 12 to 1 or from 1 to 12. And you're like, have you ever just left it and gone, I'll do the math?
Absolutely. You know me.
Yeah.
Brad, nope. Bugs him way too much. And I don't like those ones like my coffee maker. So if I was to count how many clocks plus the car one that you reminded me of, so thank you for that. I have 3 clocks in a vicinity of a foot. And those are the only 3 that I have to change. And that's the microwave, the oven, and my coffee maker. And my coffee maker is that one where you have to like go only up. And so you have to go through all of the numbers under the sun just to get it like, so like the minutes. I have to go through every single minute.
And you can't hold it down and it skips by 10 minutes.
But then what if you go over it?
Yeah, I've done that before where you overshoot and you're like, actually, you know what? There's actually a very important one that I have to change.
What's that?
My plant light timers.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, my plant light timers. So every light in my office is on a timer and they're all my plant lights. Mm-hmm. Well, I come into work and I've got them scheduled that they come on before I come into work. Yeah. So I walk into my office, my lights are already on. Yeah. I'm incredibly lazy. I don't want to turn on lights. I'm too busy.
I like it though, right? Yeah. I like that.
But I come into my office and I forget to do it ahead of time and I'm like, oh my God, it's pitch black.
That's offensive.
Yeah. So no, because that's the thing as well is I bet you now they have digital and Bluetooth timers that'll automatically change. But I use the old school analog timers. And I have to adjust them by an hour.
Yep.
Now, it's real easy, but I forget every year.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. I think this one's going to be a little bit easier because we're falling back. We sort of get that hour of sleep back in a weird way.
I see you, because I'm up early and you are too. I never look at it as an extra hour of sleep. I always look at it as an extra hour of my day.
Exactly. I kind of like that more. Yeah.
I do too. Sleep whenever, man.
Yeah.
Go get stuff done. Is it meant to be nice weather on Sunday?
I think so. It's interesting. I was thinking about this the other day about the various stages that our country's going through right now. I mean, some areas like here in Alberta, we've seen our first snow. Mm-hmm. It's funny. I was watching the news and we got the snow, and then everybody on the East Coast, there's like a national morning show and they were saying, oh gosh, there's the first symbol of winter. And apparently we are like the marker for that.
Well, like the barometer.
We're like the groundhog of the country. But then I was recently in Vancouver for a family get together, just like last weekend, and they still have all the leaves on their trees and shrubs.
Tell me they're at least turning red and
yellow. They
are.
are. So at least they got some fall going on, but they had a little bit of frost. So, you can definitely sense that the change is coming, but it's definitely still various stages across the country.
Well, let me ask you this though. So now, time change.
Yeah.
We've had snow.
Yeah.
It's being cold.
Mm-hmm.
Are you in winter mode?
So I'm sort of looking forward to it. I'm starting to see little symbols of holiday season, Remembrance Day coming up, right? So I am, like most gardeners, we always want to plan ahead. And one of the things that I thought about doing this year, because it's so easy to be a cynic about winter, right?
Oh, 100%.
As a gardener, you don't get to be outside very often. And you're like, well, what am I going to do for 6 months of the year?
And you can only trust me, as somebody who has quite a lot of them, you can only putz around your houseplants for so long because your
Yes,
houseplants are like, leave me alone, man.
Yeah,
I'm doing my thing.
I only need you one day a week.
Exactly.
Like, that's it.
I don't need to be weeded. I don't need to be deadheaded. You're not going to pick tomatoes. Go away. And you're like, I'm going to clean your leaves. I'm going to fuss around.
Or in my case, my houseplants are like, oh yeah, I remember you.
Oh, back again, eh? TikTok, is that
It's been a
time?
while. It's been a minute. But, I started thinking I need to get out of this slump and just look for ways to appreciate the winter season. And so I thought it'd be really fun for us today to go through a little winter bucket list. I know it's not official winter yet, but as we're planning ahead, thinking about things that we can do this winter. And I'm going to pop this list that we've created in our show notes, which are available at goldenacre.ca/blog. You can look at that, add your own, let us know what you think. But let's start with number 1. And I think this is a really good one because it's reflect and plant for the next year. You've just come off of your gardening season. Everything's fresh. Write down what you learned, your challenges, your successes, and then make a little plan for next year.
You know what's funny? The other day I was outside and it was chilly, of course, but it wasn't freezing cold. And I stopped for a little bit and I was outside and I was looking at the garden and obviously all of the tomato plants are gone and everything is put to bed. I've got my big winter pile for the bugs. And I was like, next year I'm going to move those tomatoes over there. And I was already mulling over. It's so funny how we're like, we get to, September, maybe October, and we're like, oh my God, I just want to break them. I just need a break. I don't want to be weeding every week or deadheading every week. And then we get the break and we're like, okay, TikTok, I want to get back in my garden, please.
Well, and the other thing too is a lot of us won't start thinking about our garden again until next year after Christmas. And then you forget. You're 100%. Like, oh yeah, what was I going to do again? I forgot. So why not just take a little bit of time right now, write down. I love those gardening journals. Yes. I know it's really hard to keep up with during the busy season, but maybe at the end of the season, just be like, hey, this is what my 2023 garden was like. And then you can reference that for next year.
Well, and you know what? That's why we talked about it in the last podcast. Take the pictures.
Yeah, exactly.
Take the pictures of the flowers. That'll help jog your memory and make notes. And yeah, that's a good start now. You don't have to finish it now either. It's a winter project.
Exactly. And following up on that, number 2 is start your garden wish list. So did you notice that something broke, like a tool? Maybe you saw a cool gadget on Instagram that you'd love, but you would never buy yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe start building a little wish list for the holiday season coming up and
maybe it's time to drop subtle hints to people.
Yes.
Like leave little pictures everywhere of, maybe a new trowel or a new hose.
Yeah.
I'm the one I'm worst for, garden hoses. I will get the maximum life out of my garden hose until I have no choice but to get a new one because they're so expensive. And then the other thing, though, have you ever used a brand new garden hose? So when you buy a new hose, it comes very, very coiled.
Yeah.
Very tight. They want to make it as compact for shipping. Every time you turn it off, it tries to revert. So if anybody ever does get a new hose, here's your life hack. Make sure there's no leaks. It's not wasting water. Turn the water on and leave it on. And leave it out in a straight, flat line on the hottest day possible.
Oh.
And then the water heats up and it makes the rubber very malleable.
Yeah.
Turn off the faucet and drain the water. Do not drain the water onto your plants because if it's a black hose, it can get ridiculously hot.
Yeah.
Drain the water out, quickly coil it while the rubber is soft, and you've created a new shape.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the only way I figured out how to beat it, but I don't always have the time to do that.
Yeah.
And I have been known every once in a while to maybe curse and say horrible things to my garden hose. But they're expensive. The people often overlook them.
Yeah. So you'd be okay if someone gifted you one?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love garden hoses.
I would have always wanted, this is going to sound so weird, but gardening gloves. Like, I know that's very cliche, like, oh, gardener gloves. But like, there are some, projects out in the yard that I really love to use them. Like I love getting my hands dirty.
Yep.
But if I'm carrying something or dealing with something with like wood and I don't want splinters, like Brad's hands are calloused. He's a mechanic. Like his hands are hard. Mine are just like, I work on computers all day and I do like light gardening.
And you've never cut a lawn?
Yeah, exactly. Wow, I sound really bad right now.
You're like, yeah, I'm a gardener.
I'm totally a gardener. But yeah, I would love like a really nice pair of gardening gloves. Like, oh, geez, like so many things in gardening, we just buy it to just get the job done. But like, how about we just treat ourselves and ask for something really cool?
You know what? And you're right. You know what? That's actually a great gift idea. Last year, not the season that just passed, last year, Jenny had a great pair of blue polka dot gardening gloves. Anyway, they got damaged. They got ruined as they do. And this year, we were going to do our planting together, and she needed gloves. And I was like, "Oh, I'll get you a pair." And I got her the most basic utility. No, they were the top of the line to protect her hands.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to skimp on the safety.
Yeah.
But do you think I spent 1 second looking at pattern, design, color?
No, she wanted cute ones.
Yeah, and she got the most basic one solid color. They were probably black or green.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's your gloves. And she's like, yay.
Yeah, I know. And it's really fun. Sometimes I'll see downstairs in the decor department, they'll bring in like cute gardening things, like things like I wouldn't buy it for myself, but maybe if it came like a little garden tool set with like cute designs on it, and then someone gifted that to me, I couldn't justify buying it, but I would use that every day. I'd find reasons to use it.
Exactly. And that's what we do. And I have never, ever in my life ever been, I mean, it's no point giving me a tool because I've got all the gardening tools, but I've never been asked by anybody for a tool for Christmas, and I've never been given a garden tool for Christmas. And I think it's actually a great idea.
I think it's a great idea too. What about a flower press? Okay, this is not the Christmas episode that is coming, but back to our winter bucket list. So number 2 is start your garden wish list. Number 3, grow herbs, lettuce inside, right? Just because it's winter doesn't mean you have to stop growing, right? And herbs and lettuce. Do you say herbs or herbs? Herbs. Okay, herbs. For this podcast, we'll say herbs. This is Spotify.
Do you say herbs or herbs?
I say herbs unless I'm around someone that says herbs, and then I... out of respect.
Solidarity.
Exactly. I was like, herbs. Okay. No, that'll be our Spotify poll today. So go into Spotify, vote. Do you say herbs or herbs? That's going to be a fun one to spell.
Herbs or apostrophe herbs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I mean, that's something really cool. They don't take long to grow.
Nope.
And then you can include them in your cooking over the winter.
Or it doesn't have to be cooking. You can also grow relatively easy to grow inside, actually. It wants warmth and light is lavender. And make your own tea, make your own smelly sachet things.
Oh my gosh, yeah. You can like put some like for your shower or by your bed or...
And it's, because it helps you sleep.
Yeah.
But I always used to, I mean, I've always got something going, but I haven't done herbs in a while. All I can say is, my mini grow light garden?
Yep.
Either buy one of those or set one up.
Yes. I feel like the grow lights, because that's my problem in the past. I have tried to grow herbs and they always become lanky and then they never really amount to anything, but grow light, totally.
A grow light. And then the beginning of this year, I gifted you that heat mat.
Yes.
Make sure you use that.
Oh, that thing saved my life this year.
Not gift. Use your heat mat and your light.
Yep.
That's all you need. The herbs will do amazing.
Love it.
And you do mint, and then you can have mojitos and mint tea. Yeah.
Look at all this inspiration, right?
I know. It's growing herbs is pretty fulfilling.
All right. So that's number 3. Number 4 is grow cannabis.
It's funny. It's a very bizarre plant. It doesn't require much, but what it does require, it requires a lot.
Yeah.
So you're not, I heard stories before I grew it for the first time. People were like, oh, it took this amount of time and this amount of time. No, not at all. And I was fairly successful. You can't just leave it, but there's really no need to baby it. But when it is time to work on it, it is time to work because you got to train it and trim it and cut it and fertilize it.
Yeah.
And you got to have the correct lights. There's a ton of steps you have to do. But if you use cannabis recreationally or medicinally, it's a great hobby to get into.
Yeah, and I was really surprised at the amount of support that you can get online. There's tons of literature for growing it. There's a ton of groups like on Facebook where if you're having trouble growing it, you can just go on there and engage with the community.
And I'm going to give a shout out here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you are ever thinking about it or you want to get somebody a little gift package, buy them a tent and a light to get them set up and going, check out Ramo.
Yeah.
He's on all the social medias, REMO, Ramo Nutrients. He's a good friend of Golden Acre, and this guy is a master grower. He is phenomenal, and the resources he has. They have on. So if you buy Ramo products, there's a number on the back, and it's 1-800-HEY-RAMO. And if you call that with a question, somebody in his office answers the phone and answers your question.
No way.
And the question does not have to be related to his nutrients.
Really?
So if you call, and this is what I've heard 100%, if you call and you're like, I'm really confused right now because I'm at this stage. What should I do with my lights? Not Ramo nutrients. What should I do with my lights? They will tell you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's 1-800 or 1-877. I'm sure you can find it online.
Yeah.
But I love that it's like 1-800-HEY-RAMO. And if you call that, it goes through to his office and a staff member, because everybody who works from is basically a grower, and they all help each other out.
Wow.
And Ramo himself might even answer the phone.
Well, that's better than like getting tech support.
Exactly.
Like, that's awesome.
And that's how much he believes in it. So this isn't like some big corporation that isn't there to support you, or they pay a lip service. This is a guy from Vancouver who's been in the cannabis industry for decades, has an amazing product, and absolutely will support you. So if you want to get in, because I'm going to do it again this winter.
Yep.
That's my goal is, one of my goals is I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it properly, and I'm going to use Ramo again.
So number 5 is plant a winter bulb. Now, we know about spring bulbs and we know about fall bulbs, and those are the ones that you go outside. I mean, you can force them inside, but the ones that are kind of more so for the indoors are our winter bulbs, and that's things like amaryllis, paper whites, and hyacinth.
Yep.
I have never done it.
I was borderline on the cusp of like maybe not lying, but not telling the whole truth. I was going to be like, oh, yeah, a few years ago I had paper whites, which is true, but I bought them fully grown.
Oh my gosh, that does not count.
We're gonna winter bulbs.
I know. But we have these gorgeous ones downstairs right now, and I have been eyeing up the amaryllis. I have always wanted to grow an amaryllis because they're such a beautiful flower. You can get them in reds, you can get them in whites, pinks, and it's a huge bulb. And then they go this big stalk out the middle, and then these gorgeous big blooms come
the big
out.
trumpet blooms.
Oh my gosh.
And it is such, honestly, the thing I really like about the amaryllis, from the size of the bulb to the vibrant color of the flower to the stem, it is such a strong looking plant.
It is.
Like, it's vibrant. The stem looks like, in order to break it, you'd have to snap it over your knee.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'll do you one better.
Yeah.
Amaryllis challenge.
Okay, I like this.
Okay, after we're done recording, we both got our amaryllis.
Yep.
We take a picture of it, we record it, and then it doesn't have to be started at the same time.
Yeah.
But we both have to start it this weekend.
Yep.
And then we see whose blooms first and whose looks best.
I like this. I think I already know which one I'm getting.
Well, no, you're out of the game. I haven't even looked at that.
Okay. Did you know there's an amaryllis called Black Pearl? I think you should do that because you kind of look like Jack Sparrow.
I'm going to do the Jack Sparrow walk when I go and get it.
Oh, it's so fun, though, getting to pick one, and then you get to grow it right from the bulb, and then hopefully maybe it'll bloom before Christmas. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I'm definitely, you know what? So the reason I got those paper whites pre-grown, I'll admit that, I guess. Jenny loves paper whites.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I've never done it since because I'm such a great guy.
Such a great guy.
Yeah. So no, you know what? I'm going to grow the amaryllis for our amaryllis challenge.
I like it.
And I'm going to grow paper whites for Jenny for the because she's worth it challenge.
I love. That's so nice. I just realized we have a whole amaryllis bulb section on our website, and it tells you how to grow one from the bulb. So I'll link that in our show notes. If you've ever been curious, maybe you want to join the Amaryllis Challenge too. So that'd be really fun.
Jump in. Yeah, for please. Sure.
So number 6 is for our bird friends. Shout out to our birds. Add a bird bath or bird feeder to your garden.
Absolutely. And you know what? Great idea. I'll make another suggestion there too.
Yeah.
You might not have time to go out and fill up seed or buy a big seed or anything else. At this time of year, when it's cold and food is scarce and the birds need like a lot of the fats and a lot of the good stuff, a suet holder and suet cake.
Yeah, perfect.
You don't even have to mess around with it. Open it up, drop in the suet cake, close it, hang it back out.
They still appreciate it.
Yeah, they go nuts for it. You know what we should do, though?
What?
We should get a hold of our good friend Myrna.
We should.
Yeah, we should get a hold of Myrna in Leyland. because we did a spring episode on birding. We should do a winter episode on birding.
We should. I think it's so different.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a completely different challenge ahead of them, right?
Well, and there's different species.
Yeah.
Because now all those migratory ones that, see you later, buddy. Yeah. And do you know certain birds, only a percentage of them migrate? There's a question I'm going to ask Myrna.
Yeah.
So Bohemian waxwings, I always thought they migrated.
Mm-hmm.
And then last year I saw them at my house, a big flock of them in the tree. And I'm like, why didn't you guys go south? So I Googled it and it said they can overwinter, but the food resources available can't sustain the entire flock. So 80% of them in the area leave, give or take, 20% stick around. Those 20% get their resources that they need. The other 80 go, and then they come back. And I'm like, who decides who gets left behind?
And you saw a Bohemian waxwing in your yard?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've never seen one. I just had to Google it because I'd never even heard the name before.
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
Oh, they look like, do you know what they look like? They look like the raccoon bird. With their bandit masks on. They're a raccoon bird.
They look so fluffy.
Yeah, I love them. And they were in the tree singing, and I was like,
yeah.
You know how rare it is to hear bird song in the winter?
Yeah.
I was like, that's beautiful. And then I got a photo of them, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I got super happy, and then I Googled it. But we should absolutely bring Myrna in because that's a great idea. We need life and vibrance happening in the winter. It can be pretty bleak out there. And the birds, they will love you for it, and you'll make lifelong friends if you keep it up.
And that's the thing, right? If you take care of them now, they're going to know where to get their resources, and they'll come visit you all year round.
And then you could even start attracting migratory ones and even get hummingbirds.
Ooh, that's the goal, right?
Yeah, hummingbirds. I've only ever been at one house here in Alberta, just up at Crossfield.
Yep.
And they had 11 hummingbird feeders hung up, and there were hummingbirds. Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Wow.
It was crazy.
You don't see that very often here.
No, I obviously they put them out all the time. The birds had found them on a migratory route, and they were all going there. Yeah. And I was like, that is incredible.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Number 7, decorate your home for the holidays and for the winter season. You know, most garden centers, they do stay open over the winter.
Yep.
You can obviously shop for supplies. You can do houseplants. And in some cases, a lot of them do holiday giftware and home decor. And I know a bunch of garden centers here in the Calgary area. They do fantastic displays.
Yep.
So it's definitely worth a little look-see and visit your local greenhouse, see what they've got going on. Maybe start a new annual tradition, right?
And a couple of things there. So if you're going to go local and support the community, because you know all the local garden centers, the independent garden centers could use it. Yeah. There are ornaments that you will see at your local independent garden center that you won't find anywhere else. Yeah. Because they don't do what the box chains do. They curate and they find and they look for really unique things. And Jenny, Harry, and I have a tradition going back to our first ever Christmas all together. We always come to Golden Acre and everybody gets to buy one new ornament for the tree. Aww. No questions asked. Mm-hmm. So Harry one year bought a dragon. All right, buddy.
I love that.
2 of Harry's ornaments. One is a goldfish, like literally a Japanese koi carp, and a dragon. And Jenny, she wants to do this winter woodland theme tree, and Harry's hanging his goldfish.
Oh my gosh, I think that's so cute, though.
But there's no questions asked.
And it's a holiday tradition. Yeah. It's a family tradition. There's so many places that even do Christmas markets. What the Saskatoon Berry Farm, just south of the city, they do a big Christmas market, and they invite a whole bunch of local makers. So people hand making ornaments and decor pieces. Even Salisbury Greenhouse, shout out to our friends up in Edmonton. Yep. They do a huge Christmas display. And again, you can get inspiration for themes. You can get that annual tradition of a Christmas ornament. Yep. It's great.
3 years ago, Jenny straight. She didn't buy a tree ornament.
What?
She bought mistletoe.
Oh.
And now we hang mistletoe up as well. Aww. So she found an artificial mistletoe, an ornament. That's our tradition, and we do it as
Is she really cute with it too? Is she always gets it out of the box?
No, she gives it to me and I pin it up, at the busiest walkway in the house where everybody has to pass each other. And poor Harry, because every time Jenny and I walk by, we're going to smooch. And I think we've got a picture of Harry in the background looking rather put out. But Live with it. I'll walk into that. I think I've got a picture of me giving Jimmy a smooch.
Yeah. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
So number 8 is going to be sort of along the same lines, creating a seasonal outdoor planter, repurposing your outdoor planters to build seasonal planters using things like cedar, pine, balsam. I know you talked about that in our fall episode.
Yep. You can absolutely decorate it for Christmas.
Yeah. But
take the ornaments off and hey presto, you've got a winter planter.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And you can add things for interest like, what have I seen? Those birch stems?
Do you know what works really well?
What?
A lot of people in Calgary have them as well. So if you do, cut it out your own garden. You can absolutely prune your dogwoods in the winter. It won't hurt them. And dogwoods grow and get those bright red branches. So you've got your green foliage, your white snow sitting in there, and then the bright red dogwoods coming out in the middle. Looks real sharp.
Oh, that does. Oh, it sounds so good. Yeah. And it'll last because it freezes.
Yep. Yeah, so I always leave a little bit of soil in mine. I understand if you don't want to, there's other mediums you can put in there. Let it freeze solid, and as long as you stick the cut end in and it freezes, it'll keep the color, and then in the spring, dump it in your compost and away you go.
Easy peasy.
Yep.
Easy peasy. Number 9 is to obtain a provincial tree permit and then cut down your own Christmas tree.
Yeah, there you go.
You said that you started this, last year?
Last year.
So cool. Tell me about
it. Do you want to give me the desire to do that?
What?
The movie National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Hopefully it went a lot better than that did.
Yeah, it did. And it wasn't as big. But until we moved to Canada, I didn't know that was a thing you could do.
Oh.
You can't do it in England.
I guess you can't do it over there.
Yeah. No, we don't have enough trees.
Yeah.
We've got 3 times the population of Canada in a country that would fit into the Maritimes. We don't have a lot of trees left. If you let people go cut them down, we would have no trees left.
You know, and I watched a YouTube video where apparently Christmas tree farms are very popular in England. Is that true? Like you go to the Christmas tree farm, they grow the trees, and then you sort of pick from there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but you're not cutting down a wild tree. And I always wanted to. So I went out with the boys last year. I took out Harry and his friend Dominic, and we walked around Cyprus, and I think we were out there for about 3 or 4 hours. Beautiful day. We had axes and saws. We saw a great tree. I was about to cut it down. And Dominic, who I love, is one of the best kids ever. Dom was like, oh, wait. And I was like, what is it? And he's like, there's a bird's nest in that one.
Oh.
So we turned around, we left it alone, and we went and found another tree.
Oh, what a nice, gentle soul.
And we cut down our tree, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It really was. And you know what? If you want your pristine, put it on the gram Christmas tree that is just stunning and shaped perfect, come get one from a Christmas tree lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Our Christmas trees, the Golden Acre trees, they're from Nova Scotia, premium, grade A, balsam fir.
Yeah.
Those are designations from the government of Canada. Like grade A is a designation. My tree was definitely more on the Charlie Brown side of Christmas trees. But you know what? It meant a lot to me.
Exactly.
There was something about it that I was like, yeah, when I first put it up, I was like, whew, that's thin. And we put our ornaments on it and we were like, but you know what? It actually made me happy.
Yeah.
It made me happy. There was a whole thing there.
Enough that you're going to do it again this year?
I believe so. You know what? Just alberta.gov.ca tree permits, and then it lists, it asks, I think, for your postal code. You put your postal code in and it goes, you can go take a tree out. It's free. You download it to your phone because they'll send you a permit. If a park ranger stops you when you're out there, you show it to them. And you're allowed to cut down a couple of trees.
I found the link, so I'll pop that into our show notes as well, just in case you want to maybe join Colin in a new family fun.
Yeah.
I always get my tree from here. Just it's so full. Like
you
said.
Are you always live? Always live tree or artificial?
You know, I never used to be. Growing up, it was always artificial. But
really?
There's something about a live tree. You know, and I'm not going to get into the politics of live tree versus artificial tree, but just like the smell of it, and it's become a new tradition between Brad and I.
Nice.
And it's something that I feel very passionate about doing with our kids one day. So we just do this. I do still have an artificial tree that I've sort of partially donated to work. So we still have one at work, and it's really cool. It's one of those ones that change color. So you can have multicolor and clear lights. So in a way, I do partake in both. But in my home, I do love the real trees, and I love getting them from here. Just like, again, they're full. They smell so amazing. And I usually get like everything in one go. So wreath, boughs, like a one-stop shop.
Exactly. And you get home and then you realize that your home is nowhere near as big as Golden Acre. Because I've done this a few times and you're like, oh my God, this tree looks way too
Were you in my house last year? Because Brad looked at me, he's just like, where? It was almost like in National Lampoons where Helen's like, well, what did she say? Where are we going to put the angel or something like that? That was Brad. He was just like, I don't know what we're going to do.
Where they open the tree and it's like blowing out the windows.
It was like so big too. Yeah. So we are definitely downsizing.
Yeah, yep. I've done it more times than I care to admit, where I'm like, I know I have enough room for an 8-foot tree. I'm like, that looks like it's 8 foot. Pretty sure I can get that home. And then I'm like, yeah. Okay, we got to move furniture out.
I know.
Harry, you're sleeping in the garage tonight. We need your bedroom for the tree.
Well, moving on from the Christmas theme and back to a more wintry type theme, this is something that I really love, is grabbing a hot chocolate and then going on a winter walk in nature or a winter drive and just experiencing nature, right? Like I love going out through like Kananaskis or Banff and the snow on the mountains. I feel like the winter really forces us, well, it doesn't force us, but it encourages us to stay inside, keep warm and all of that. But there's still so much beauty to be seen, especially in Canada where we're blessed to get all 4 seasons. So it's a really good opportunity to just go out and experience it.
Do you know how I knew that I was a climatized Canadian?
How?
When you say the sentence, -27 isn't bad with no wind.
I know.
And then you tell that to somebody from the UK and they're like, you're insane.
Yeah.
But it's true. Those
it's true.
Crisp days.
Yeah.
So you're telling me, okay, that sounds amazing. I've done that before. Have you ever done a winter picnic?
No. And I love that. That's number 11. So winter picnic. Tell me about this because I've never done one.
It's a summer picnic, except there's no bugs.
Oh. Ooh. Yeah. Ooh, plot twist.
Bring
that is something I never considered.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna do a tie-in here for you, and this is gonna be real interesting. You take a blanket.
Yeah.
You take some soup in a thermos and some hot chocolate and some cold drinks and some bread and some snacks and some fruit, whatever you want, and you have a little picnic.
Yeah.
Then you've got your energy and you've got your hot chocolate and your coffee, and you walk around and you find your tree.
Ooh.
2 things in one.
Yeah.
Then you come home and you put your tree up. Then when you're done, you take your tree and you put it in your Christmas green planter. So it's no longer Christmas now, it's your winter planter. Mm-hmm. And you hang suet cages off it.
Oh my gosh.
And now you're attracting the birds. Then in the spring, before there's any fire bans, you take your tree back to Cyprus. You have a bonfire with it. And then you have a spring picnic to end the season.
Seriously. Okay, now tie in planting winter bulbs.
Yeah, come on.
Just keep it going. Keep it going. That's great.
Yeah.
If you're looking for ways to repurpose, I mean, yeah.
We started it as an annual tradition. We invite people over and we do hot chocolate and we do everything. And then last year we went, you know what, let's take it further afield. And we went back out to Cyprus.
Aww.
And we had a big bonfire and it was a blast and everybody had fun. And then we stayed out there till it was dark and the fire went out. And then we did some astral photography with the stars.
Wow.
Because that's one good thing about it, getting dark sooner.
Yeah.
You're not like doing your astral photography and you're like, okay, it's 11:30. It's still not dark enough.
I mean, it is true. There's some kind of joy about seeing the stars.
Yeah.
You know, at like 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah, that part hurt. I don't know why. Like there's a joy about seeing the stars. I'm like, you've got me. You've got me. I'm like, that's romantic. That's picnicky. And you're like, at 5. I'm like, ugh.
Hey, my bedtime's 9, so I have to do everything
9?
before.
Ooh, party animal. Settle down. Settle down over there, Brandy.
Well, that is our winter bucket list. I'm going to pop this up on our show notes on goldenacre.ca/blog. So feel free to steal our ideas.
Yeah, add some.
Yeah, add some. Reach out to us, on our social media and just let us know what you are planning to do and what you're looking forward to this winter. We're going to talk about our hypothetical question of the week because I love this new segment so much. And this week's question is, if you could magically grow one fruit or vegetable in your garden out of season during the winter months, what would it be and why?
Obviously, I'm going to go straight to the tropics. I'm going to pick something like pineapple. Okay. But does it have to be a fruit or a vegetable?
I mean, that's what the question was. But if you, I mean, yeah, just.
Okay, fruit or vegetable? No, I'll stay on track.
No. You can pick whatever you want.
I'll stay on. Well, okay, so here's the thing. Fruit or vegetable, I mean, any of them would be good. Okay, but I'd much rather be able to grow winter flowers.
Yeah.
I'd much rather be able to go, like, get some color. Okay, we all know I love my flowers, but I am going to stay on track. And I'm going to tie everything back in because that's how much I love you, Brandy.
Okay.
A hanging basket filled with strawberries.
Oh, that's a good one.
White flowers, green leaves, red fruit. So you get your Christmas colors.
Yeah.
You get your tasty, juicy vitamin C through the winter that you're growing yourself, and no bugs to eat your strawberries.
That is such a good one.
No slugs, and you'd probably attract some birds too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, strawberry hanging baskets. That's my answer.
Okay.
Final answer.
Okay, that's a really good one. Mine's way less.
Wait, it's your question. You had all week to prepare.
I know. Like. Well, now I changed my mind. I like the strawberry one. Like, it's a good one because I like using strawberries in smoothies.
Yep. And the color scheme, that was actually what got me.
Yeah. And then you're right. You can keep that in a hanging basket.
Yep.
So it's not like you have to have it in the ground like a potato or like whatever. And plus, like, potatoes tend to keep really good inside. So you have to pick something that is quite perishable, right? Yep. My thought was like, I looked at this question and I was like, does it need to be a zone 3, like where you're from? Like, or can you just pick like...
My first answer was pineapple.
I know. That's what when you said pineapple, I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess like we can maybe pick any zone we want.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even in Calgary, like, I mean, personally, I have seen people grow like things like blueberries and whatnot in pots. And I'm like, oh, I would love to do that out of season. Just in the wintertime, you just have like fruit shrubs, grapes.
Saskatoon berries.
Oh, Saskatoon berries.
I'd
go a banana.
That's but that
because banana, you have to get it from the grocery store every single. Yep. So here's why I like banana as my answer.
Okay.
Because we buy them every week and they are always at different ripenesses and you always get them like either too green, too yellow. Yep. Like they never really last throughout the week.
And they don't ripen accordingly.
No.
Have you ever noticed? So you buy a bunch of bananas this Sunday and you have your bananas and they're like that yellowy green.
Yeah.
By Tuesday, they're brown. You're like, perfect. You buy the exact same kind of shade. And by Thursday, you're like, you can turn any day now, guys.
Exactly.
Or you buy them and you're like, they're going to last a week. And you're like, Brad, we have to eat all the bananas by Monday lunchtime.
Yes. And same with avocados. Like, I can't buy a ripe avocado. And I don't want to be that person that's like feeling all the avocados. You know?
Yeah, if you buy a bag, you've got to take those 5.
Yes, you do.
So Jenny and I had avocados.
Mm-hmm.
We went down to Montana for one night. They were rock hard on the Friday. We came back on the Sunday and Jenny was like, I'm just going to have like a cheese sandwich with some avocado. And she's like, yep, avocados can't be used. And I'm like,
still?
No, they were too soft now.
Oh, they were too...
Yeah, like
Mr. Window.
Yeah, 38-hour window of ripeness. Thanks, guys.
See, but if you were able to grow them, then you can control
avocado
it more.
Would be a great one.
Avocado so I'm going with avocado or banana.
Good.
And strawberries.
You know what? You get take all 3.
All 3.
You got all 3.
How charitable.
Yeah, I'm sticking with my strawberry.
I like that one, though. I like that. I'm going to pop that into our Spotify question of the week. Let us know if you could magically grow one fruit or vegetable or flower in your garden out of season during the winter months, what would it be and why? And with that being said, if there's anything that you would like to know more about, any topic ideas that you have for the Helpful Gardeners podcast, we'd love to hear from you. You can reach out through our Spotify polls and questions. You can reach out on our social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram. We also have our email, so info@goldenacre.ca, and then our SpeakPipe app over on our podcast page at goldenacre.ca as well. So lots of ways to get a hold of us. We'd love to hear from you.
We're not shy.
No, we're not shy.
And also, it doesn't have to be a question or an idea about the podcast if you have your own hypothetical question of the week.
Yes.
Or if you want to just chime in with your Amaryllis challenge.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Please.
Or present us another challenge.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm always down for a challenge.
We love to hear from you. And we can't wait to talk to you next week.
And next week, by the way, Brandy, plot twist. I'm asking you the hypothetical question.
Oh, I like that.
Okay. Bye, everyone.